What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another old cartoon show from the 2010s. This is Regular Show, and we're taking a look at the Regular Show movie. I thought, where else to start off with Regular Show with the Regular Show movie? And I did this because it's all about time travel, and it takes us from the start of the show to the end of the show and back to the middle. I also like to talk about the movie because we have talked about Adventure Time, and it got me thinking about all the old shows that I used to watch on Cartoon Network before and after school and before I went to bed. Because I enjoyed cartoons. I enjoyed watching cartoons, and the specials were really cool. There were big events that were advertised like crazy on these sort of channels and streaming platforms. So I want to go back and take a look at it. So, the Regular Show movie is like an hour and 30 minutes, and it was a made-for-TV film, which is a film that they put straight onto the Cartoon Network TV channel. And it is a film about Mordecai and Rigby, a talking blue jay and a raccoon must defeat a wicked volleyball coach to save the world. So, basically, this volleyball coach is ripping a hole through time and space and destroying everything in the timeline, so the park crew get recruited by future versions of themselves to save the timeline. So we have future versions of Rigby, future versions of Muscle Man, High Five Ghost, Skips, Benson, and Pops on the good side, but an evil version of Mordecai and the future version of Mordecai is on the side of the evil volleyball coach. And we do find out why at some point in this film. But that's how it starts. We have rips opening through the time, because it just starts off like a regular episode of a Regular Show, them chilling on the couch, playing video games with the ducks. Stuff comes in, stuff happens, time starts to shatter, time starts to break, and then they get recruited. They go off in the ship, they fly through time, trying to repair these holes, trying to find key significant events throughout their history to fix. We have some funny ones, some bad ones, and it's a very hard plot to follow. It's very confusing. Stuff moves very quickly. The pacing is awful in this. I'm not going to lie. But there is a time tornado which is eating up the entire timeline, and it's built around the park house, or it's built with the park house. And we have them going back to their college or their high school, sort of where they're trying to get into college, and we see that Rigby replaced Mordecai's letter with a rejection letter because Rigby didn't want to be left alone. Mordecai got accepted, and he was scared because he was rejected, that he was going to be abandoned by his one and only friend, which then divides them. And Mordecai and Rigby are now separate. They hate each other because of Rigby ruined his life. Rigby put Mordecai in a dead-end park job for the rest of his life because he made a fake rejection letter. So he wasn't able to go to college, he wasn't able to get a good degree, and he was just put in this park job, and it ruined his life. I don't know why, but we had like a lot of Breaking Bad references here for whatever reason. And with these two splitting up, these two getting angry at each other, it does cause Rigby to make the ultimate self-sacrifice to sort of give himself up to save the timeline, and to, get himself killed to save the timeline, to put it all back to normal, put it all back together. And he ends up surviving, he ends up coming back, which is obviously expected. He's got main character plot protection on him. But Mordecai gets upset, Mordecai forgives him, they go back to having a normal day at the park, and that's pretty much it. It's a very confusing, convoluted film, and I tried to put it into the best sort of plot that I could, because, again, a lot happened, but I don't know how to explain it. They win by playing video games. Like, they're playing it with video game controllers, and that's how they pilot the ship, and that's how they destroy the other ship, which is like a crystal to eat up the timeline. Yeah, it's very confusing. It's basically just a Regular Show episode. A Regular Show is confusing at the best of times and at the worst of times. And it's very hard to follow, but it's funny, and it escalates quickly. And that's what I like about Regular Show. It starts off with like a simple phone call prank and ends up with them fighting a demon. And it just escalates so ridiculously quick to fit into like this 10-minute show. They had a lot longer to make this big dramatic film, and they did. They started off playing video games and it ended up with them destroying the timeline and having to fight future versions of themselves to save the like world. And that's incredible of how quickly that escalated and how significantly it escalated as well. Like, they were just playing video games and poof, timeline's been destroyed, gotta go through. And they had ups and downs through their adventure, and the voice acting is incredible. I like the voice acting in this. Watching this again got so much nostalgia through me, hearing the regular show intro with the sort of dull tones, and hearing Mordecai and Rigby's voice, and the ham-boning. I used to do ham-boning all the time, with Rigby like slapping himself all over, like cat mug me, ham-boning, all that sort of shabazz. You know, these shows sort of influenced my sort of childhood and made sort of me make all these references. I also made Mordecai and Rigby in Lego. If you do want to go check out those videos, they're on the channel now. Go find them in my custom Lego playlist. I did also have to make the ultimate sacrifice. I had to choose whether I wanted Adventure Time figures or regular show because I wasn't allowed both, and I ultimately went with Adventure Time, so I betrayed regular show in that sense. But back to the film. Voice acting is very good. I love the voice acting. I love the voice acting cast of these guys. It starts off with my mom as one of the main voice actors, and yeah, the pacing. The pacing in regular show isn't the best. It's always quite fast-paced, and it's sort of always in your face, shoving new things in. We have the characters screaming, being loud and obnoxious, but that's just their character. That's who they are. They are loud and obnoxious with a whoa and shit like that. So the characters are supposed to be obnoxious, so I can forgive them for that. But when it's very fast-paced and loud and in your face, it does get quite confusing and can sort of lose you at points. And I do find regular show losing me at points and being like, all right, how did this happen? How did this get here? How did we escalate here so quickly? Did I miss anything? Blink and you'll miss something with regular show. And that's what I felt like when watching this movie. Because since doing these film reviews, I have started to be more critical and sort of review the film as I'm going, trying to remember a couple of points to sort of talk about in these videos. And one of the points that I kept coming across was I'm having to pay attention so hard to follow this story because a lot goes down. It escalates quickly, so you have to pay attention. There's a lot of information given to you all at once. And I do love regular show. I just wish they slowed down a little bit in places and they didn't try and rush to get all their ideas done all at once, because I feel like they're trying to get too much done in like too little time. They have 11 minutes for a normal episode, but here they had an hour and 44. And I think this being their one shot at a movie, they wanted to do a lot and wanted to get a lot conveyed and try and add as much lore to the story as they could. And I think they did it. I think they got a lot put in, and I think that they managed to get everything that they wanted in. I just think that I wish they slowed down in places, cut a couple of things out that they didn't need, because what I remembered of the plot, I took 3 minutes to talk about. The rest of it, woof, over my head, or I don't remember, as I was trying to sort of stay on task with the main topics. But yeah, regular show's got such a sweet, simple animation style, and they did do another show. They made another show called Close Enough, and it didn't have all these crazy, wacky characters. It was more of an adult animation, and it is on Netflix now if you do want to go watch it. I don't know if I have a film review out of it. I will go check, and then I'll let you know. But regular show is so good and wholesome. I want more regular show. It's put me in the mood to go back and watch regular show. It's the only issue with this film that I have is pacing. The pacing and them trying to shove too much in at once. But everything else with this film is really good. It's got a nice plot with time destruction, and it goes right up my alley with dimensions, time travel, time sort of related issues and stuff like that. I love time travel, I love dimensions, I love space-time and all that. If you've found the channel for a while, you will know that. But yeah, it fits what I like. It's just feels rushed and feels like they sped through it to get everything in and to get like a solid conclusion. The conclusion does feel justified though. Like the conclusion is a really heartfelt conclusion with Rigby sacrificing himself, Mordecai being upset that Rigby's gone, and him forgiving him, and him coming back and being that sort of stereotype where Rigby stood next to Mordecai going, yeah, I remember him too, I loved him too. And Mordecai's I can still hear his voice. That sort of stereotype. But seeing them actually argue with each other and get annoyed at each other and sort of separate was a big twist. Because that hasn't happened in regular show before. They are two inseparable characters. Yes, they've got annoyed with each other before, but never to the extent where they've gone their own separate ways and got this angry at each other. And it felt really impactful because of Rigby doing this. You can see how much of he's in the wrong. And most of the issues do come from Rigby. And we do see that from the show, and we do see that from this movie, that Rigby causes most of the trouble, and Mordecai is just a bystander to most of his shenanigans. It's Rigby that edges him on. It's Rigby that eggs him on. It's Rigby that starts the stuff and takes stuff too far. And it's Rigby that causes the trouble for Mordecai to be in. We also have Dragon Ball references here, as you can tell by the Vegeta hairline and the Vegeta hair and the sort of time travel and the sort of costumes of the bad guys and the volleyball coaches. I forget the volleyball coach's motivation for wanting to destroy the timeline. I genuinely can't remember for the life of me why he wanted to do this. But other than that, there isn't much else to talk about. He is a volleyball coach, and he does destroy the timeline with volleyball bombs, which is quite funny. I do like that. I do like the implementation of volleyball bombs. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. See you all next one. Have a nice day, and goodbye. If you do want some more Taylor Price in life, please definitely go check out my Linktree. But I am going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's a decent movie. I just think it's too fast-paced. All right, bye-bye.